answer this question though. You have to look at it from this perspective. That was the government putting money on top of that paycheck. That wasn't your employer. That
Yeah.
didn't come from your employer. That money came from the government. You know where how they got that money? They printed that money. You can't just print money and then look at what's happening right now with China dumping our government bonds back on the market right now. Did you hear about? I mean, not to. They just dumped a bunch of government of U.S. bonds on the market. That's basically our debt that they bought. Because every time you print money, someone has to buy the debt. No
Yeah.
matter what, we run deficits because people buy our debt. China went and said, you know what? Hey, you put this EVs on us. You just put this EV sanction on us. You don't want us to sell our EVs. Cool. We're going to dump some of your. They told us they were getting us back. There'll be repercussions for this. So they dumped government. United States government bonds. I think either them or Japan are the biggest holders of United States debt right now. They're the two biggest holders, foreign holders. Them in Japan, I believe it is.
So what does that mean when they dump that onto there? Please explain that to people.
Okay, so somebody got to buy it. Like, okay, so someone, if they come and say I'm gonna dump 100 billion or 150 billion in United States debt on the market, someone has to come and buy that. Some foreign country has to come and purchase that debt. You know, you can't just. I mean, basically, okay. Say we're running $1 trillion deficit. We're every 3 months we're basically running in debt $1 trillion. We don't just get to say. I know people say they're just gonna print the money. It doesn't work that way. Someone has to buy that from us because you're printing up treasury bonds. Pretty much, a treasury bond might have a 5-year yield, 2-year yield, 1-year yield, 10-year yield. Like it might come out in a year, and we got to pay it. That's what we have a. That's why I was saying before. I know we have our budget, our interest payment every year is like $800 billion on the debt that we have. That's just the interest payment. We're not even paying off the debt. We're just paying an interest payment of that. So that interest payment is what that 1-year yield, 2-year yield, 3-year yield, 5-year, 10-year is. You know, that's what that is. They might say, okay, in 1 year, this interest payment is due. In 5 years, this interest payment or this just interest, not the interest payment, but this debt is due pretty much in 5 years or 10 years. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I know I might be kind of jumbling.
No. A lot of people don't know about that. Like I didn't know about that. So they dump the bonds back onto the stock market. And how does that affect the stock market?
Someone has to go and buy those. You know what I mean? Because if there needs to be a buyer, and people just aren't just saying, "Hey, I'm not sure how much they dump." Let's just say they dump 200 billion. That's a lot. I think they only have like a couple, like $1 billion or $1 trillion plus dollars, something like that, of our debt or something like that. So say it's 200 billion, 200 billion, right? Some other country has to come in with real money and buy those. Not a lot of countries have that kind of money just sitting around to come and buy that kind of debt. That's why you see our two biggest holders. China buys it from us because we keep on buying shit from them. It's like this is a revolving door with them.
Yeah.
We'll take the debt that they buy. We'll take the money the debt they buying from us and go and buy more shit from them. Here you go. It's like a revolving door. That's why it works for them to do that. A lot of other countries we don't have that kind of revolving door with. It doesn't work for them. They might want to help prop us up, but they can't. Motherfuckers can't just keep buying our debt. So that's just kind of what it is. They were to dump, like back in 2008, Russia asked them to dump our bonds on the market during the big crash of 2008. They're like, I want you to just dump all your government because it made our dollar worthless. Pretty much nobody would have been able to buy it. There wouldn't have been anybody who could afford it at that time. And so that's the biggest thing they're doing, showing us, hey, we may not buy your debt anymore. We're going to dump some of this shit in the market. We may not keep on continuing to buy your debt, even though they make money off of it. They do. But shit, it may not be in their best interest to keep on doing that.
Yeah,
as it is, So it's just one of those things. I'm just saying.
Now, what could be the ramifications of that?
I mean, shit, man. If we can't, they're dumping our bonds. If we can't sell our debt, pretty much. Then we can't afford to pay for shit that we have coming up. That's our obligations that we have. Say we want to buy more. We can't just fund things like. I know you don't like this, but like Ukraine, that's money we printed. We can't afford to do all. We can't afford an $800 billion military at that point in time. If we can't deficit spend. We may not be able to fund basic liabilities like food stamps for people. That's all money. Like everything that's in our budget comes from a lot of it. If we're running damn near $3 to $4 trillion in debt every 3 months, we're running $1 trillion. That's almost $4 trillion every year. That people are buying of our debt. Somebody's buying of our debt. Sometimes it's the Fed too. They can buy. It's a lot of shit that goes on with that too. So that's a lot of money. I mean, of our yearly budget that we're having there, it could be anything. Social Security might not get paid. Something is, there's shit that could that could shake at that point
And
in
see,
time.
that's interesting. A lot of people don't know that. They're like, they'd be like, okay, we're giving another $1 billion to the Ukraine. And everyone's like, well, where's that money coming from? And now we know. That's
Yeah.
it's some little food for thought there.